Agi, as a practicing psychologist, you came across a lot of men, especially younger men, who had some kind of issues about understanding what it was to be a male, which is when you started thinking about this project, What Makes a Man a Man. Tell us about how you developed the idea and what are some of the sort of significant issues that motivated you.
It's interesting, it's often even older men, not necessarily younger men, who would talk about not knowing how to be in relationships, not understanding what women need, not understanding how to be a father, and being stuck in work that they didn't want to do and having no sense of direction or purpose. So there are lots of ways that over the years many men talked about being lost. And quite often in my work with them I would say, well, you know, let's talk about where you could have learnt about these things. Tell me about your father, uncles and whatever. And very frequently it was, well, you know, Dad was an alcoholic, other descriptions, really bad relationship with Mum. I never got to learn anything. I wish that there was somebody that I could have been speaking to, somebody that could have just guided me a little bit. It's unfair. And so this idea of being unfair, of seeing movies where there are warm, close relationships between fathers and sons and really feeling like, you know, somebody's telling them how to be a man, was something that many have never experienced.
And you said to me at the beginning that when we were talking about this project, you said that a lot of you were concerned that so many men were contemplating suicide.
Mm. Yeah, I think, you know, that by the time I get to see people, they're not in a happy place, otherwise they wouldn't be coming to see me. So some of them were really quite distressed that they couldn't see a change. So even though at that moment it may not have been as bad as other times, what they could see was an inevitability of things being negative and relationships not working, losing touch with their own children because of the breakdown of relationships. So a sense of meaning and purpose just wasn't there, which is what people need to want to keep living. So yes, not infrequently they would say, I have thought about taking my own life.
And so you were encouraged to come up with some kind of virtual program, a virtual mentoring program. How did you devise that? What were the things that you decided you should try and do?
Look, you know, initially I played with the idea of even creating groups where there could be men, real mentors. I thought, no, that's all too hard and there's clearance and a whole lot of things that have to be done. So I had the idea that we often learn from movies, we often learn from listening to other people who we don't know but are known through the media. So I thought it might have been a really good idea to get a whole bunch of guys who are well known, who've got some kind of credibility, to talk about their lives, and to get the guys who could talk about things that were not necessarily good in their lives, but how they changed it around. So then it was a matter of thinking, well, how do I get to these guys? How do we do that? Yes, there's hundreds out there. And then talking with you about it as well. So we came up with some good possibilities, and then it was a matter of sending out, well, probably 60 to 80 emails saying, knock, knock, here I am, could you come and talk to me about your life? Not necessarily well received by all, but brilliantly received by a good number of really influential Australian men.
And having heard, you know, over a dozen of them now, what do you think that you've achieved what you thought you would?
I think so. I think so. I'm very pleasantly surprised with some of the honesty that a lot of people who are quite well known have spoken about things that were not so easy or not so successful in their lives, and to hear them bare their souls in some way, I think is a really, really, you know, wonderful opportunity for somebody else to say, hey, look at him, he's so successful. Maybe I can do that, which is exactly what, for example, Dean Daly-Jones said, that if other guys can see him and listen to him, say, well, look, I was the same, but look at me now. It's quite inspirational, and we've had a few of those, quite a few.
I know, I was there and I was
I know.
very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.